introductory lecture, building a complete system with ASP.NET Core API plus Angular. Introduction. Imagine this. You are a receptionist in a large clinic. A new patient arrives and needs to be registered. A few minutes later, an existing patient calls asking to update his phone number. At the same time, a doctor requests the full list of his patients for the week. If you rely on paper records, you will drown in chaos. If you connect your code directly to the database without any structure, you will end up with errors, duplicated data, and a system that is almost impossible to maintain. The question: how can we build a structured, scalable, and maintainable system that can handle thousands of patients, doctors, and appointments without breaking down? That's exactly what we will learn in this series. The problem: paper-based systems equal chaos and data loss. Direct database access equals duplicated code, errors, and poor scalability. In large projects such as hospitals, universities, or ministries, this approach is not sustainable. The solution is to use organized design patterns combined with a strong front end, repository pattern, a central medical records department that organizes all data access, unit of work, like an operations manager ensuring that all actions are either completed together or rolled back, DTO and automapper, like official medical reports, only showing the required fields, controller API, the entry point that communicates with external systems, Angular, a dynamic front end to display data in a clean and interactive way. Series Roadmap Part 1, ASP.NET Core API 1. Repository plus interfaces starting with patient service. 2. Unit of work. 3. DTO plus automapper. 4. Controllers plus create and update and read and delete. 5. Advanced queries filtering, table relationships. Part 2. Angular 1. Introduction plus project setup. 2. Creating components, for example, patient list. 3. Creating services and consuming the API. 4. Routing between pages. 5. Full create and update and read and delete implementation. 6. Enhancements, search, filtering, pagination. Part 3. Integration connecting the API with Angular. Final review plus advanced improvements. Learning objectives. By the end of this series, students will be able to 1. Remembering, define repository, unit of work, DTO, automaker, component, service, routing. 2. Understanding, explain why these patterns are essential in large-scale projects. 3. Applying, implement, create, and update, and read and delete operations in the API, and connect them to Angular. 4. Analyzing, compare messy code with well-structured code using patterns. 5. Creating, build a complete full-stack system API plus Angular. 6. Evaluating, assess the strengths and weaknesses of the final design. Core concepts. In the API IISP.NET Core, repository pattern centralizes data queries in one place. For example, instead of writing SQL queries everywhere, place them in patient repository. Unit of work ensures that multiple operations are handled as one transaction. For example, paying for a medical invoice that includes a consultation, medicine, and lab test. DTO data transfer object, lightweight model for sending only necessary data. For example, a report to the ministry containing only patient name and national ID. Automapper automatically maps entities and DTOs. For example, like a live translator converting between two languages. Controller API, the entry point for clients like Angular, /API/patients to retrieve patient lists. In Angular component, a UI building block, button, table, form. Example, patient list component displaying patients in a table. Service, centralized layer for sending HTTP requests to the API. Example, patient service with methods like get patients and add patient. Module, a group of related components and services. Example, patient module, routing, navigating between pages. Example, /patients, list of patients, /patient/add, add patient, data binding, linking the UI with the data model. Example, editing a name in a form updates the table immediately. Step-by-step journey 1. Start with patient service API. Define interfaces. Build repository. Add unit of work. Create controller. Implement create and update and read and delete. Goal. Our first complete API service. 2. Move to Angular. Consume the API using patient service. Display patients in patient list component. Goal. First live data shown in the UI. 3. Repeat for other services, appointments, doctors, reports. 4. Final stage. A fully integrated API plus Angular system ready for real-world use. Questions you might ask. How do we connect patients with doctors in one query? How do we ensure an invoice is never half recorded? How can Angular instantly display patient data from the API? Don't worry, we will explain all of this in detail. The next lecture, we will build our first patient repository, define interfaces, implement, create and update and read and delete operations, retrieve and display our very first patient list. This will be the moment we move from theory to practical coding. Call to action. If you want to learn how to build strong, scalable systems with ASP.NET Core plus Angular, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you don't miss the upcoming lessons. By the end of this series, you will have a complete project that you can showcase on your portfolio, use in your job, or publish as your own course.